first I'm going to discuss the issue, right? A lot of Muslim people are settled in the Gulf region, right? The Middle East region. They come from countries with very poor passports, like Bangladesh, Pakistan, other Asian countries in that regions. And one of the key objectives for them is really to get out of the country, leave the country, and move to a better country. Any person wants to move into a better environment for more money, for a pleasant life. And then once you move, let's say you move to Dubai or Saudi Arabia or Bahrain or Qatar or Oman, any of these nations, of course they provide you with the money, they provide you with the opportunity, but something very important they don't provide you with is the nationality. You're never going to be a citizen of all these countries. So whatever physical time you're spending on the ground is absolutely wasted. You're never getting any citizenship. The same amount of time, if you smartly plug in different places, you could have collected a lot of nationalities. The problem is happening now, particularly because these countries, right, places like Dubai, they're imposing taxation, they're getting more westernized, they're getting more controlled or dominated by Western influences. So they're getting stricter and stricter and stricter. One of the biggest problems with a very strict country is, let's say if anything goes wrong with your personal situation, let's say things happen in Pakistan, they try to pull you back, or anything goes wrong in Dubai, they kick you out, you might be able to survive, right? You might try and see where you could fit, right? Try to go to some other country, try to do whatever you want with your situation. But the biggest problem would be with your family, right? If your children or your wife may be used to living in your home country, but let's say the children, right? The children may not have ever been to Bangladesh or Pakistan or whichever country you're coming from, and they might just be in a complete shock, culture shock. They would be panicking, going back in a country which they have never seen. And although they have been born in Dubai or Saudi Arabia or whichever country, they're not going to be citizens of that country. That's a big problem for your family right there. That is why you absolutely must now wake up before it's too late and grab immediate permanent residencies, so you start collecting citizenships over a period of time. My focus on this channel is to discuss residencies, temporary as well as permanent, which can be obtained in the cheapest possible way, right? Without any golden visa fees or less fees, right? Less donations, less physical presence, right? Next to no physical presence for maintaining the residency. And when it's time for citizenship, you either spend anywhere from 6 months to a year to year and a half max, right? And then you apply for your nationality and collect solid passports. That is going to be critical, and that's where most of our discussions is surrounding how do you fit under one, two or many residencies. And then let's say you're doing one trip, you're killing multiple birds with one stone. Let's say it's a 15-day trip, you're visiting multiple countries, and then you are triggering all these residencies, and then you're on your pathway to your all-important citizenship. What are some of the most important options? One-day card process in Mexico is one of the best in the world, right? Qualifying criteria is pretty ridiculous. You can either get the temporary or the permanent based on how much capacity you have to show your income. Let's start off with temporary because most people qualify under this one. Couple of criteria really. One is either you show a monthly income of 4,000 plus, or you show a bank balance of 80,000 plus, and you could qualify for the temporary. That triggers your clock to your citizenship. That is one of the most important ones. The second most important one is Paraguay for tax purposes. Territorial 9% tax, so you're rather than wasting all your money and getting the Dubai golden visa, Paraguay is almost for free because there's no donation or golden visa fees. The other flexible permanent residency is by Dominican Republic. I just came back from Dominican Republic, one of the most beautiful places. There's Guatemala that offers that same beauty and safety. Antigua in Guatemala, I was there a month before. I covered this in my videos. So Latin America, you can't really go wrong. I was in Panama a couple of months before. Panama is one of the best places to obtain a quick passport, a travel passport, right? So let's say you're doing a Mexico, you are waiting your passport from Mexico. In the interim, you can trigger the Panama passport. It's a temporary passport, right? So you keep that till you get the Mexican one. Once you get the Mexican one, you can give this one back. So you have a lot of opportunity in Latin Americas. And then you should also consider some diversification. A lot of my smart clients, wealthy clients, look at diversification options in Africa's. If you are over 50, you can directly get the permanent residency in Mauritius, absolute no-brainer. You should think about this. And then the other one, which is for the masses, is the South African lifelong permanent residency. The beauty of South Africa is that this card does not expire. This booklet does not expire. So unless you lose it or it gets stolen, you're going to retain your permanent residency for life. If it gets stolen or you lose it, then you go check in with immigration. Otherwise, you never meet immigration. No physical presence required on this permanent residency. And then if you're looking for citizenship, that also happens in the final year. Let's say in the 5th year, you're applying for citizenship. You spend the minimum amount of time in the country. They mostly focus on your final year. So South Africa is an excellent option. And these are just a few examples. There are other places and other unique hidden gems that you can trigger. If you're looking for an immediate passport, right? You want a passport right now, then of course you have the citizenship by investment options. Not all are bad, some are okay, and I've covered the good ones. I've covered my analysis in the other videos. At any point in time, right, you want to discuss based on your income, based on your bank balance. There are a lot of opportunities, okay, where you can convert your bank balance into a fixed deposit, and that fixed deposit generates a passive income, interest income, and you can always cancel the FD if you don't need it. So you can either start an annuity or an FD. You can have cancellation clauses. Each of these instruments does have options for canceling them. Let's say you don't need it after a certain time, your work has been done, then you want to have that cancellation option. So we can discuss how you could convert your active income into passive income if you don't have passive income. Certain places only asks you for a couple of months of proof of passive income, so you can structure this. Again, you want to be careful. You don't want to commit any fraud. That's where you want to work with a good attorney to schedule this properly, to make sure all the boxes are ticked, you're not going wrong anywhere. And then once you set this up once, it is reusable. You can use the same structure to apply for multiple residencies. So setting up the structure, qualifying for these residencies, scheduling the residencies in such a way that, let's say 15 days, 20 days, you have a trip to Latin America, you're doing all your work there. Let's say you're having a trip to the African region, you're completing your work there. Let's say you're doing Mauritius, South Africa, both options. The other big thing I feel is very important, and again, none of this is immigration advice, this is just my opinion, right, is that you start multiple options at once. Never rely on one option. Start 2 or 3 or more options, because there's anyways no donation that you're giving. It's minor lawyer fees. Start all these options, and then in the end, hopefully all the options work out equally well. But even if one option doesn't work out, you always have the backup option, or you have other options that are all scheduled. And then finally, the most important thing is to quickly and quietly switch over to your prime nationality, and then you can continue to live your life in Dubai or any other country. Worst case situation, the worst case scenario, you're not going to go back to Bangladesh, you're not going to go back to Pakistan, you're not going to go back to any other country where you don't want to go. You're going to have this solid nationality, you're going to have solid residency permits. You can conveniently sneak to different countries legally because you have the rights. And then the other thing that's very important that a lot of savvy people focus on is pairing different residencies with different nationalities. A lot of countries don't sit and ask you for all your citizenships, right? They're only concerned with one citizenship at a time, the active one that you're using to enter their country. So that is where the residency that you get, which is paired with that particular nationality, that combination becomes very unique. Now, this is a more advanced discussion, right? A lot of people are successful businessmen and they need this to strike this combination for some specific purposes. That's where it gets advanced. But at a basic level, if you're looking for basic necessities, at least what's important is to get the residencies, right? And then to get the nationality. Citizenship by investment is not all bad. It really depends upon the circumstances. It depends upon whether you want to waste your money or invest your money. You think it's a good investment. For a lot of people, spending 200K is a waste of money. But for a lot of people, spending the same money in a property where they need the property. If you don't need the property, then it's again a waste of money. But if you need the property, then you're generating rental income and you're acquiring citizenships. those citizenships also take a lot of time, right? So they take anywhere from a year to 2 years. So you're spending a lot of time. It also has the same amount of struggle as some of the natural options. So if you have some easy natural options which don't require you to invest, is going to anyways take the same amount of time. So you're better off triggering those. But let's say for whatever reason you just want to purchase a citizenship, then you have those options as well. Now, if you aren't yet subscribed to the channel, make sure you're subscribed. And if you want to get started with any of these residencies, you can always click the link, book a call. We can discuss which is the best one and get you started. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up and catch you in the next one.